We are back with Christian Juzang today. Continue from part one. So you're playing for the Vietnam Basketball Association.
Yep.
Why Vietnam Basketball Association?
Yeah, I think I just had to kind of factor in like impact versus significance. Our old coach used to tell us about that all the time, and I felt like I could have the most impact playing back home in Vietnam. Like just the people I would be able to inspire there, rather than just being like the typical foreign import anywhere else in like Europe.
Do you think your choice, it's because you're a Vietnamese American? Did your parents have any input in your choice?
They just wanted me to follow my heart, and my heart kind of told me that I should do it.
So sweet.
So, and plus I had been back like in 2018, that summer, and I kind of fell in love with it. So I think it was kind of all made sense.
Where did you go when you went back to Vietnam?
Saigon. I got to go up to Da Nang. I got to go up to down to Ho Tram on the beach. There was a couple different places I was able to go, but it was a really fun trip.
Have you been to the beaches there?
Yeah, my favorite. Ooh, that's a hard question. My favorite is probably Da Nang, maybe in the summertime.
Have you been to Phu Quoc?
Oh, I take that back. Yes, right. You're right. Phu Quoc is the best. I just actually went January, February. It was we were on the southern tip of Phu Quoc, and it was amazing. The water was so great. Cool. That's the best beach. That's the best beach.
Yep.
I forgot about that one.
That's actually my best beach too.
Okay.
I actually grew up there.
Really? You grew up in Phu Quoc?
No, I grew up in Vietnam.
Oh.
So I grew up in Vietnam. So I'm very familiar with the places.
Okay.
I remember the first time I've been to Phu Quoc, the water was so clear.
So clear.
That you could pretty much see and touch all the fish. You could pretty much see everything down there. So I fell in love with Phu Quoc, and that's the first time I ate uni in Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah, the girls grew uni there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Yeah, so why Saigon Heat? I know that there's, is it Cang Thơ Catfish?
Yeah, there's a couple. I think there's 7 or 8 teams now. The reason for Saigon Heat was my mentor is really, really closely affiliated with the league and that team. So I think that was kind of the reason why. I also got drafted there. So, but it made sense because I'm working there. They made sure that we were able to kind of make everything, there's some synergy with me being and living in Saigon.
So how do you like Vietnam? Is it, obviously it's completely different,
yeah,
but how
different.
do you adjust?
I don't know. It's almost like, it's like jumping in like it's a summer day, but you're jumping in a cold pool. So it feels great after, but when you get there, it's like a shock. And then you just start swimming around and you're fine. But like you said, the differences from obviously growing up in Los Angeles, it's a completely different world. But also a completely different world that you love, and you grow to just really like appreciate all the little things, like all the crazy sounds and sometimes weird smells of like Saigon. Like you end up really almost missing it sometimes. So I've just grown to love it, to be honest, and it's become, a really good place to be.
Have you ever crossed the street there?
Oh my God, I don't think I'll ever get. So there's a couple of things about Saigon for those who have been, probably will never get comfortable or used to doing, and one of those things is crossing the street. Someone told me this the first day I got there, which was don't stop. Just keep walking. You have to walk with faith, and just go at one pace, and they'll adjust to you. There's a million motorcycles out there flying around, so it's kind of one of those things where you're just like
motorcycles flying around.
I mean, like, yeah, it's one of those things you almost have to see it to believe it, because the typical mind and brain wouldn't even be able to like imagine the traffic system. Like, it's crazy.
So when you arrived to Vietnam, what was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did was, so I landed, I dropped my stuff off. I have a really, really cool place in Tao Dien, D2. And then I'm in the heart of the city, kind of in D2. So I have a bunch of amazing restaurants around me, which is great, and it's all walking distance. So the first thing they took me to a place in D2 called Bet Pho, if anyone's been there. Really, really good Vietnamese food. So I went and got some broken rice.
Yeah,
and
the
some
broken
pho.
rice is awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite food there?
Oof. If I could pick 3, probably pho ga, Bum Chaya.
Bum Chaya.
Yeah, Bum Chaya. And maybe any banh mi I'm good with. Banh mi.
Any banh mi. So which one have you tried?
There's a banh mi place right by my office that I work in, and it's like they do a really simplified version of banh mi, but it's like nice and spicy. I'm a big spice guy, so that's probably one of my go-tos. Yeah.
Cool. So you talk a lot about you working there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you do besides basketball?
Yeah. So as you guys know, like basketball is only a certain amount of time in your day, and then a certain amount of time of the year, being that it's a seasonal sport. So I'm really, really interested in business. That's what I went to school to kind of really study and hone in on. And so I'm working for a venture capitalist guy out there who's really involved in a bunch of different things. So it helps me grow and learn being around that office all the time. So on my day-to-day, I'm working in venture capital and business and investments out there. So that's really where I'm really, really interested in.
That's very interesting because when I was growing up there, I think my mom's worst fear was, how will I be able to find a job? So when I was growing up, the culture there is that the kid will stay with the parents until they're married.
Yeah,
right?
That's really, it's different.
Yeah. So and pretty much when you go to school there, the subject is really hard, but jobs are pretty much very limited, and they're not being paid very well, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So my mom was really scared that I would not be able to find a job there. And that's pretty much her worst fear. How will you be able to find a job there? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is kind of where the benefits of going to Harvard come into play. Henry's been a guy named Henry Wynn, been my mentor for a couple years now, after I met him my freshman year. And so that's what really landed me, not only in Vietnam, but then with obviously the venture capital firm that I'm working with, because he runs both of them. So, so that's been kind of a blessing to just know the right people, and then obviously letting your resume speak for itself. But like you said, it's growing from a manufacturing hub to also very tech-based products. So now, like, there probably will be more jobs as time goes on, but like you said, still it's very limited in that capacity. So I've been fortunate and lucky to be able to enter the space. Yeah,
well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
I'm not sure. I'm actually working in politics, so I am not sure how I would be able to find a job in Vietnam at this moment. But I just want to say congratulations. Really happy for you.
Thank you.
How was you be able to, from the United States to Vietnam in playing basketball? What's the biggest difference?
The biggest difference, you don't really have, for me at least, because I'm coming from obviously Los Angeles and then Boston, like I don't necessarily have my support system out there. I think that's probably the biggest difference. Wow. Not having like your family to go home to every night, or like your go-to like home cooked meals. I think that's the biggest difference. At the end of the day, you'll get from A to B in a different fashion, but you'll get from place to place. Your days will go by and you'll be kind of just following your passions wherever you are in the world, I guess. But I think just not being close to friends and family and kind of missing certain moments. Like luckily the Final Four I was able to jump on a plane and come home for.
Right, yeah.
But other than that, like you can't do that all the time. So I think that's probably the biggest difference.
I actually saw that video when you surprised your brother, right? I mean, how long did you guys stay together? Were you guys able to meet each other? Was that like a bubble?
We had the glass door in between us because of the bubble.
I was just wondering.
But we had an ongoing joke about like, all right, like if they make it all the way to the Final Four, it kept getting closer and closer. We're like, all right, like they make it there, like I kind of got to go. And then they did it, man. They pulled it off. And so I remember like my phone is obviously going crazy with everyone hitting me up. But then I made sure I called my mom like, all right, we gotta book a flight. And so everything changed in 24 hours. I had to go to my office. I had to kind of tell them. They obviously supported it, which is amazing. So thank you to them. And probably within 24 hours, I was packed and I'm home.
24 hours?
Yeah. So,
wow.
And it came at a price. Like I can't get back in for 2 months. So.
That's
kind of
right.
has been a nice excuse to be home with family and friends, though. So
where do you see Vietnam basketball in the future?
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing. I think there's more talent coming up. You know, if you look back a couple years, I don't think you could find any like Vietnamese basketball players anywhere.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would have never thought there's going to be a Vietnam Basketball Association.
Right.
Right, and I think it was established in 2016?
Yeah, 16 or 15, something like that.
Yeah, I would have never thought that would have happened. I have heard and talked, a lot of people talked about how developed Vietnam is, and I think that just a testament to how much of the growth they've been, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you usually do when basketball season ends besides working?
Besides working, so while I'm over there, obviously it's no hop, skip, and a jump from LA. So like, while I'm there, I'm really trying to travel. So we did the Phu Quoc trip in February, I think. Before that, I had gone to Da Nang. I want to get up to Sapa.
Oh, Sapa is nice. I've never been.
Yeah, I heard it's beautiful. I've seen some pictures. So that's probably the next trip when after all the COVID stuff goes down. I want to go to Vung Tau.
You've never been to
I haven't been to Vung Tau.
What?
I've only been there for 6 months. So that's probably on the list. But I think traveling and just seeing the country. Last time I was there, I went up kind of close to Hanoi, and there was this like cave. I guess like the third biggest cave in the world.
Phong Nha or something.
Maybe, yeah, Phong Nha. And we did a 2-day hike. And I didn't know what I was signing up for. Like I literally spent the night in a tent in a huge cave, bats are flying around. But it was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I probably wouldn't do it again.
Would not.
But it was still one of the most beautiful things I've ever done.
So
like I'll remember it forever.
So when you travel up to, I guess, a mountain or the cave, did you go on a motorcycle?
You know what? I try to stay off the motorcycles as much as I can. Okay, because it's a very, I don't know, it's a liability. But when I'm around like Tao Tien, I'll get on a bike. I don't mind because it's not the crazy traffic. Once you go over that bridge, I'll be in a car.
That's a smart choice. So I have a surprise for you, and we're gonna end this with some speed questions.
Okay.
All right. So you talk about sports. We talk about food.
Yep.
One favorite Vietnamese food.
Delicious.
That's very cool. Okay. So if you can go 1-on-1 against any NBA basketball player, who would it be?
Ooh, my high school teammate, best friend, Mie Oni on Utah Jazz.
You know, I would have thought you were going to say your brother.
Soon. I can't say that yet, but the draft is the end of July, and then that might take its place.
Okay. What other sports would you play besides basketball?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I want to say football, but I'm not big with the whole head concussion stuff. But I don't know if my athleticism translates to anything else. I'll probably be a wide receiver maybe in football.
Okay, wide receiver is important. And lastly, words of advice for the Vietnamese American younger generation.
Oh man.
This is not going to be a speed response. You can take your time on that.
Okay, that's fair. I would just say follow your dreams. At the end of the day, when you look back, I guess I can't really speak too retrospectively. I'm only 23 years old. But if you follow your dreams and put everything you have into it, I think that regardless of outcome, you fall in love with the process and you're okay with that. I think that you can hang your hat on your work ethic. As long as you don't leave or regret anything, I think that's the biggest thing. I think me and my brother are like pretty safe to say that like pretty good examples of it. We had to go against the grain. Like no one would have thought 2 Vietnamese basketball players would one end up at Harvard and 2 be in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Right. I think that like if you follow your dreams and do something that you're obviously good at, I think you can leverage that into whatever you want to do next. Just really, it sounds cliche almost, but like whatever you're passionate about in your heart, like don't suppress that. Like really go after it, and if you do, just put everything into it. It's hard to do anything if you're one foot in, one foot out. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing that words of advice. I think at any time those words are truly important. Follow your dreams and take note, follow your dreams, and good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for
having
being
us
with us, and Thank you.
Appreciate
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vừa rồi là cuộc trò chuyện của Christy với Christian Juzang. Xin quý vị cùng ủng hộ cho anh Christian Juzang and see you next time.
Hi, I'm Christian Juzang, and you are watching CBN.